Uh, but yeah, let me read the synopsis really quick. Civil War is a journey across a dystopian future America, following a team of military embroidered journalists as they race against time to reach DC before rebel factions descend upon the White House. It's directed and written by Alex Garland. It's got a 82% critic score, a 77% audience score, so it's fallen a little bit since we looked last week. With it being fully released now, I want to say we saw this in IMAX, three of us together yesterday.
Shit.
Yeah, kind of a mistake. It was a beautiful movie. I'm not mad that we saw it in IMAX. I want to probably just see every movie in IMAX if possible. But this movie, like, it's really quiet, and then a gunshot's really loud. That's crazy. Also, while watching this movie, I thought Kristen Dunst, who isn't that huge of an actor nowadays, is in two movies right now that are in theaters because Spider-Man re-released and is playing right now,
No, that's just
and that a ton of
MJR.
people are seeing. No, it's not. It's all across the U.S.
Why?
If you look it up, they're re-releasing every Spider-Man movie in order for 1 week. So next week is Spider-Man 2, and they're just going to keep doing it. I don't know why. I think it's the 25th anniversary of the movies or something like that, so they're bringing them all back. Yeah, Sony's just making a bag real quick. But I was like, damn, that's kind of crazy that Kristen Dunst is in two movies that's in theaters right now across the U.S. Like, I don't know. Good for her, but I thought that was kind of crazy. But what did you guys think of the movie?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Aiden. Oh, all right. Okay.
All right, I'll go.
Oh, all right. No, you go.
No, you go.
No, really.
Go ahead, buddy.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
Waiting for
good.
you.
I thought it was pretty good.
All right, I'll go.
Okay, Aiden's going now.
No. Take it.
God damn it. I'll go. I'll answer my own question.
Is this episode 1 or episode 150?
Yeah.
Jesus.
No,
Yeah, really.
I'm going now. I'm going.
All right.
I mean, originally before we agreed to go see this, I believe we were going to go see Monkey Man. Was that what we were? Yeah. So that's in theater now as well. But I'll never forget when they announced the Civil War movie because it's directed by Alex Garland, who directed one of my favorite movies, which is Ex Machina. Some of you may say that Annihilation is his favorite or your favorite from him.
No.
I hope that's not true.
Annihilation is really good, though.
No.
It was all right.
Give it credit. It's pretty good.
It was all right.
Ex Machina is better.
But either way, Ex Machina is a great movie. So hearing that this was coming out, Alex Garland was directing. I was excited to see it. Like we mentioned earlier, this movie comes out right at a good time, I believe, right before election time.
Yeah.
And it's stirring the pot for sure. That's all this movie's doing.
Absolutely.
I guess I should ask you guys, how realistic do you think this movie is?
That's kind of the scary part about it. I would like to say it's not that realistic, but we're pretty divided in the U.S. And it could continue to the farther that we divide. I don't know if a civil war is necessary, but they did a good job of portraying it in the movie, where a lot of the people are just not participating. They're like, this is just bullshit. I could kind of see that sort of part of it happening, where maybe a 40% of the population is pretty upset, but the other 60 is just trying to mind their own business because they really just don't want to be involved in a war in their homeland. But it definitely has a little bit too much realism. I mean, up until maybe the end where they're blasting into the White House and stuff, that seemed a little bit unrealistic. And why would the president just be in the Oval Office? Why wouldn't he be in a secured bunker?
Yeah, they're trying to negotiate.
Yeah, seems a little goofy there. But overall, the movie itself is we all agreed on this. It's a very heavy movie. You kind of walk out of there and you're not excited or wow, there was some crazy action. It's more holy shit, hopefully this doesn't happen in 6 months. At least that was kind of my mentality with it.
Yeah, because it's not crazy in the future, 2040 or anything like that. It's almost modern time to where we're at.
It seemed like it was set basically now,
right
in time.
Yeah, I mean they had smartphones that look like ours. vehicles looked like ours. And so I drove home, and I made the joke earlier when people were asking me about the movie, but I was like, yeah, I drove home and it was quiet. I drove home completely quiet. And they're like, "Oh, do you have people in your car?" I was like, "No, I was alone." But I wasn't playing music or anything. I'm not insane. I put on a podcast, but like,
You're pretty
it
insane.
was like, dude, like I felt like kind of out of it in a way.
Yeah.
Like, not that it was bad by any means. I enjoyed the movie, but like it was a watch where it's like, damn, I don't know if I could watch that again. The way it made me feel, like another movie that did this to me was Joker, actually, with Joaquin Phoenix. Like that movie, the way it captured like mental health stuff like that, like it sat with me for a couple days where it's like, damn, like that was a crazy movie, like that was a heavy movie in a way,
Yeah, but
and so that's what this movie felt like.
I liked that movie a little bit more. The one thing that
Yeah,
I wish we would have got a little bit more of in Civil War is kind of an explanation why there was a Civil War. They kind of just leave us blank on that. Maybe some protests or something happened, and then just kind of continued to erupt. But I would have liked a little bit more of like a backstory as to why. Maybe they probably do that on purpose, not to like truly stir any pots.
Yeah, because they get
yeah,
Um,
too realistic then.
yeah, so it's probably like, hey, let's leave that out so we don't give anyone any ideas, kind of deal, and leaving it open ended like that, you know, leaves it up for interpretation to each person. The
Yeah.
other thing that kind of annoyed me with the movie, or maybe not annoyed me, but I just kind of felt disinterested, was I wanted to know like more about, I guess, the war and less about the story of the journalists, like their
mm,
Yeah.
backstory. Like I just didn't care as much.
So
I
that's
like I wanted the bigger picture or something in the movie, and I rarely ever feel that way. But in this, like I just like I wanted them to get to DC. I wanted to know what was going on. I wasn't really caring that much about the four of them in the car.
yeah. That's kind of my gripe with this movie. I mean, like you said about the realistic factor of it. I think it was more like you watch the trailer, you read the title Civil War, and it doesn't mention maybe we just don't read, but it doesn't mention like, oh, go in a modern day Civil War with a war photography a team of war
Yeah,
photographers. So I had no idea like what was going on, and then you see like towards the movie, Lee has no emotion at all, and then somehow this changes her. It's not even like the kid changes her. It's like she just flips a switch. Like I feel like that was kind of forced. Like
yeah,
she's gone on all these different tours, taken all these crazy shots, seen all this shit, and then she decides to have PTSD and in front of the White House when she needs to get her shot.
yeah, but I call me crazy. I actually kind of liked that because I felt like with her character, that's when it really sat in, like or settled in. Like
Because
holy shit, like America is falling. Like
yeah, so maybe she realized that it's on her soil. Like she's been all around, which
around the world.
they could have emphasized it. Like, hey, I've
Yeah,
been here, I've been there, but like this is happening on our turf, so that's why it hit her hard, which
and
makes sense.
I think that's why the movie felt heavy because we
Yeah,
see literally in current times the United States is like sort of active, but we don't have troops on the ground in like two other wars in the world. But we're so detached from it here. It's sad and it's horrible everything that's going on, but we're pretty detached from it. So the thought of it being like here, like, ooh, that's that's scary.
yeah, it is.
right,
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Josh, this movie just makes you think. Like,
yeah.
it's one of those films. I don't really know what I can compare it to. I don't think I felt that way that you did it after seeing Joker.
Well, and not that they're similar by any means at all. It's just that's another movie that
That made
like
you think.
had me a little unsettled and had me like feeling these weird emotions in a way. Like how do I sit with this movie after watching it? And that's kind of how this made me feel, just because how real this felt it could be, right, in the future. And they mention like about the president serving a third term, and that he starts bombing these big protesting riot sites and stuff like that. So they allude to these things, but to Andrew's point, they really don't go into a full description as to what really was the final straw, right? And what caused
Yeah,
this huge divide between the country. But I
Yeah.
will
but they
say,
do. Go ahead,
oh, go
Josh,
ahead.
and then I'll. No, no, no. You go, and then I'll carry on after.
I will say what this movie did to me was, in a weird way, I did care about the characters that we were following. And like all four of them, I really did care about them to the point where like they're taking these risky shots with these cameras in action, full Nightcrawler style. Like, what the fuck is this person doing? You have a camera, they have guns, and like you could easily get shot. And every time they're turning a corner, trying to take a picture, especially at the end, it's like my heart like stop. Like I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, what are you doing? You idiot!
Yeah.
So it's not like you're watching a scene where it's like one person's gunfighting another one, like in an Equalizer or something, John Wick. It's a lot more intense because this is like a person that can't really fight back, but is trying to do these stupid pictures where they're risking their lives. So I did care, and I felt like each character did have a clear motive as to why they're in the situation that they're in and why they're doing what they're doing.
What was the
So
motive
yeah,
what was the motive for the guy
Joel,
with no camera?
which one?
Yeah. He just got.
Yeah. Oh, Joel. Yeah, I think his
Yeah,
whole motive was getting to DC, getting the true story, getting the quote from the president. That was what was driving him. Yet he
Yeah.
was still having fun. Now, tell me if you guys agree to this.
Yeah,
I don't know
man.
what it was. I was watching it. I think maybe his name is Joel, so that's why. I
It
was
is
getting a
Joel.
lot of Last of Us. Yeah, I was getting a lot of Last of Us vibes. Pedro Pascal, like dystopian, like the way this guy's acting. I don't know what, and he kind of looks like him in a way, but like
Mhm.
I don't know why, but like in my head, I kept thinking that's Joel from Last of Us for some reason.
I
And the characters are kind of different, but like I don't. That's where my head kept going.
No, I think that's fair. And I kind of had a little bit of a feeling of that too. That actor for Joel, he's in something else dystopian. I forget what it's called, but I've seen him
He's in
before.
Narcos.
Yeah, I know Narcos, but
The
he's
Gray
in
Man, he's in.
Great man. He was
Yeah.
just in the Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the new TV show.
Okay,
Which I
he's in a lot of
really
stuff. Actually, I didn't know that. I remembered him from The Gray Man. That's the movie that I remembered him from when I saw him in this.
Okay.
But yeah, Narcos. Yeah, you're right. Yep.
Yeah, no, this
But
movie. I mean, I thought it was good, and like we said when we were outside of the theater, like, imagine they have, like, I mean, there's a civil war going on throughout the entire country. So one, like, they only showed us like 3, 4 different areas on their way to DC of like civilians and what they're doing. Jesse
all East
Plemons'
Coast.
character just murdering people that like he just wants to because no one's gonna stop him. The guys hanging dudes up that he went to high school with in his car wash at the gas station. Like,
Yeah.
this movie's a mix of Nightcrawler, The Purge, The
Mm-hmm.
Crazies, and what's the other one I want to compare it to? Fuck.
I don't
I don't know.
know.
You
but
said
it's-
yesterday reminded you of The Purge. I remember you saying
Yeah.
that.
Because I mean, it
Well,
is
because
like you got to think
it
if
would.
this. Yeah, it would
It
100% be The
would.
Purge,
Right.
and you have that, and the other part is like imagine them just showing like stuff that's happening throughout the world. They're photographers, they're part of publishers and stuff like that. You think that we would have met more writers in that hotel, had a conversation with them on stuff that's going on other parts of different, on the West Coast or East Coast, stuff
Yeah,
like that.
because realistically, I mean, I feel like if we, maybe this is like really egotistical, but I feel like if the United States was having like a civil war, like that would affect other places in the world.
Definitely.
We're kind of like a
Yeah.
pretty big hub.
If this movie
Yeah.
did take place in like modern times, like say today, like the year 2024, like you would think that they would have more social media presence, like posting
Well,
it online, and then
I
you
think
can see they do a run
they-
through, and you can see.
No one
They
had
kind of-
service.
Yeah, they covered their ass on that. No one had service, which would
But
be
they have Wi-Fi. Yeah, I guess the
maybe
hotel had
not.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it would become few and far between though. Quick, like cell
Yeah.
service, like requires quite a lot of upkeep and everything to keep it going. So if there was a war, like we would lose cell phone connection and Wi-Fi like within a week or two.
And two, you got to think everyone's
like
getting their information just from the news at this point. And if you're posting something on the internet that's viral worthy, it's going to take a lot longer to get 1 million views than it would like for us, right?
Yeah.
Just because not that many people could see it as like without the war. I did read, I want to say before I forget, Jesse Plemons was not originally supposed to be in this movie. The actor that was going to play that role pulled out like a week before they shot the scene. And so Kristen Dunst was like, I know a guy, let me call my husband, Jesse Plemons. And so Jesse played the role. Amazing job. Dude was perfect for the role. I was like, how did he not get casted originally? So I thought that was really cool. Dude's like, yeah, fucking I'll do it. It's a pretty big scene too.
But also, but watching the trailers, I thought he had a huge role in this movie. Like not even a huge role, but like more than what we saw him in. It was like a huge turning point in the movie. But if not the best.
See, I didn't see a trailer, so I didn't know who was in it. So I was happy to see Nick Offerman as the president, Jesse Plemons, and I think one of my favorite scenes, one of them, I actually have two that I really liked a lot, but the first one is when they go through the Wonderland, the Christmas, which I don't know why the fuck they kept driving. I turned to you guys and go, why the hell would they not just go back?
You would turn around.
Yeah, so they pull their car behind this bigger like van, and then they get out and they're talking to the soldiers, and there's a guy up in the house shooting at them, and Joel is asking them like, what side are you guys on? Why are you here? Stuff like that. And the soldiers are just like, he shot at us, we're shooting at them, we're not sure what side we're on. Because that's the point like you would get to in the Civil War, is like things would get so messy that you're just trying to stay alive.
Where do you
defend yourself?
Like it would, past American Civil Wars, I feel like there was multiple. The big, like our Civil War, it was kind of clear cut which side, you're part of the North or you're part of the South, you're part of the Confederacy or you're part of the Union. Like it was one or the other. Where this, like, I mean, it was kind of hard. Like you're part of the WF or you're part of the It
was Western Forces, and I don't even know who the other like faction was. Like,
I guess it sounded
just
like
US
it was
government. I guess.
Yeah, it sounded like it was
military?
The Western Forces versus the like federal U.S. government. Which
right, but I mean,
even Jesse Plemons' character though, you don't really know. Who he really serves, right? I mean, you really don't get the idea. It's not like he just has a stamp on his.
Someone.
Right.
He could have killed someone just taking the uniform, and that's when what you're saying, Andrew, is like it makes sense that because that's exactly how a modern day Civil War would turn out to be. You go out, you got people like us who are I'm not fucking killing anyone. Like why?
I'm not interested in that. No, thank you.
Yeah, or then you have the people that are fucking riled up. Oh, there's no laws. What is it called? Martial rule or fucking.
Martial law.
Like an anarchy situation.
Yeah, anarchy. And they go out like those guys. I mean, those guys aren't crazy, but like more like those gas station guys or Jesse Plemons characters where they just go out and start murdering people like the Purge.
Yeah. My other favorite scene is actually directly after this, or it's directly after the Jesse Plemons scene. Stephen Henderson, who plays Sammy, he was shot. Shout out Stephen Henderson. He was in one of my favorite movies, Tower Heist. But he was shot, and when they're driving through the woods at night and the amber is flying around, I thought it was beautiful the way that was shot.
So
that was cool to see on IMAX.
I agree with you on that, and that was the only thing that kind of I'm glad you pointed that out, because one, how they shot that scene going through the fire, and two, the song choice that they used. I literally was like, I really like this song. It made a character that I did not care too much about a little bit more emotional, and I started to actually feel for him. So no, his death actually felt significant, even though I wasn't too fond. Yeah, even though I wasn't too fond of like the four of them and the plot of them cruising around, the music and that scene of them driving through the dark with the fire, and it's kind of like America's Falling. They did a really good job of that.
And Andrew too, to that point, like when they continue to play that song, and Joel, like they get to this camp, and Joel's screaming the actor
too.
And you can't hear it. It's just the song, like, and dude, he screams for like 20 seconds. It feels like just giving it his all, and it was
like
amazing.
Some true pain.
Yeah, it was amazing.
That was a great scene. But
Yeah.
so one, did you guys see the video on how they shot that? The road to the
No.
fire. They literally had a truck in front of them with like a bonfire or whatever, and then they had a fan, so they were like blowing it, and then obviously everything else in the woods is CGI'd. But that's one thing. Like
they should have just lit the woods
lit it on fire.
Cause it.
But no, I mean that was one thing. Like right when this movie started, like the cinematography was amazing.
Yeah,
and I knew like right from the get go that we were gonna get like this, beautifully looking movie. Which is
the panic attack she's having.
Yeah, the panic attack was great.
On the sides,
fact that they're like the bullets, the gun sounded real as hell. The
annoyingly real.
Yeah, I know, because you don't know what the fuck's going on, especially at MJR. And then we go and or no, like even the flyovers, like the jets rolling by when they're down in DC, like fucking everything. I literally felt like I was in a COD match.
Tanks.
And yeah, dude, it's crazy. But then even just seeing like the base camps, like, shit like that's not easy. I guarantee they didn't have jets flying over doing barrel rolls and stuff like that. Like that's all got to be computer generated.
Oh no! Yeah, no, they didn't.
Yeah, but it looks. I thought it looked legit. I never looked at it. It was like, wow, it looks like shit.
There was only one scene when they first got to the camp and like the helicopters coming in.
The three in a row, and they were all moving the exact same speed.
That looked,
no difference.
That was the only scene that I noticed that looked cheesy.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, me too. I did the same thing. But other than that, I agree with you. Like the jets and stuff,
explosions.
It looked pretty real. They had me convinced where I wasn't taken out of it because I thought it looked shitty.
Yeah. I guess, what did you guys think about the whole DC raid? I mean, I was at the edge of my seat constantly. It was intense. Intense way to end a movie.
Yeah. Craziness. The thought of, like I said, like DC under siege by, not by like an adversary, but like U.S. forces is really kind of strange. I think it would have been cool if they would have showed them burning down the White House to throw back to history when that was done and they had to rebuild it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they were going to go there.
That would have been kind of cool.
Or blow it up.
Yeah. I think fire would have been cool to throw back with history when it was burned down. They had to rebuild, but they didn't do that. But yeah, no, craziness. They got that big, huge wall around the White House. And when I saw that too, I thought, how far away are we from them actually doing that in real life? Probably not that far away.
I mean, we've seen the White House get stormed before, not too long ago. So it's like, when do they try to build a wall or something like that around the White House? You know what I mean? Like, it's not something that would shock me if they tried to do that. I mean, it'd be insane, but that part was somewhat believable, especially in this world that they're in.
Yeah.
No, my thing is, I mean, maybe I'm just stupid, but I mean, I don't think they really laid it out. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, were the Western forces just random civilians that took over the military, got their equipment, then went over and just wanted to kill the president? Like,
I don't think so. I think it was like the National Guard forces of those like states that did not agree with what the president.
I think it's Texas and California, right?
But I mean, it's crazy to me that their one goal is to put a bullet in the president's head.
Well, I mean,
that's all they wanted.
He's gone mad.
Think about it. If we get a president and
he gets impeached,
what if he says
law's gone, dude? He's blowing shit up. He's blowing Americans up.
I guess they should have showed more. Like, they didn't show any of it. They mentioned like,
it,
stuff, but it's not like, all right, if you see like a group of people protesting and then President Snows them like fucking Hunger Games, like, all right, yeah, he deserves to die. Or like he's gone mad. Like, there's no way that this.
It felt like they were trying to kill Hitler. That's what it felt like. Like they're raiding the White House, and that Hitler was in there.
He killed millions of people.
I thought maybe he was gonna kill himself when they got there. Like, I thought that's how the movie was gonna end. I wasn't sure.
He was just hiding like this behind a desk. He was trying to grab on.
The whole time you're like one of our three that are left are gonna die.
The ending definitely takes away from this movie. I think it's a good movie, but the ending just wasn't. Like it like flipped a switch, and it was nothing like we just watched. That's how
Would
it
you
felt to
recommend it
me.
to anyone?
I would recommend it. I just saw my grandparents. I told them they should go watch it, but
Okay.
I mean, just because it's like, I think it's good, and it's like it's a thriller and it's scary at the beginning. Like up
Mm-hmm.
until like Jesse Plemons, like that part, like it's scary at that point. And then
Yeah.
once you're going through DC doing all that, you're just you're nervous. You know, you're on
Yeah,
the
and
edge of your
dude, the
seat just
Jesse
to see what
character
you
was
see.
just driving me insane, dude. She was asking to get shot constantly,
Oh
and you
yeah.
see it with Kristen Dunst. She's having these PTSD anxiety attacks, like, and the way they show it, we mentioned it earlier with like they're like rainbow squiggly lines on the side of the screen, and I guess if you're not paying too much attention, you might not even see it, but like you could tell that the realism's hitting her. What Andrew said earlier, like she's realized that America's fallen and failed at the same time, and like her whole life has led to
Although,
this.
did it? Did it fail? Because
I don't. We won't
if
know.
yeah, I get because we didn't get more of a backstory on this. The
Yeah.
Yeah.
Western
There's still
forces
life.
might have.
That's fine.
Yeah, well, and the Western forces. I mean, depending on what the president did, if Congress failed to impeach him, like maybe they were doing their due diligence, like they were doing.
Do they go back to electing a president? We don't
I
know.
would think yes. I would think
Okay.
you just remove that corrupt person in power, and
I don't know, dude. They're bombing shit, blowing shit up, forest
yeah, I don't know.
fires, like the world.
I wonder how many died. Like it's so many things where you're curious about. But yeah, she
Because
ends
that's so
up.
many factors
Lee
you
ends up.
need to know in order to make, build the scenario on what you're experiencing.
Yeah, and you know what? We're probably digging too deep into it. We should just take it at the
Yeah.
damn
Probably.
surface level and enjoy the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to talk about Lee sacrificing herself before we get to the very end. But like, I think it made sense for the character. She saw a lot of Jesse, like in herself in a way, from when she started, and the way she was like the way Jesse was acting during that whole sequence was
Oh
like
my
how she used
gosh,
to be
it
or
was
how she
pissing me
is.
off.
Yeah, it's very annoying. Like she's asking to get shot, but yeah, I think Lee saving her again. By the way, she saved her earlier in the movie. I think that made sense for the character. So it
It
didn't piss
made
me off that like why
sense.
would she do that? Yeah, it
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 made
didn't make me
sense,
mad or
but it
anything.
was
And
just like,
they don't even state if what's her name died or not. If Lee dies,
Yeah, she has a bulletproof vest on.
yeah.
She
So I
got
mean,
shot in
and
the
they make
back.
they foreshadow it when she says, "I need to see you with a helmet and a Kevlar vest."
Right. And
So I
Jesse doesn't
mean,
even check on her, dude. She takes the picture of her after she's been shot, gets up, walks away.
and then the worst
yeah.
part is that all Joel wanted was a quote from the president, but she has a film camera. She's not recording anything. So that was the other thing. Like, there's just a picture.
He has witnesses that he said that, I guess. But
Yeah, but I mean, like now people are crazy and they're all
So
armed.
yeah,
So
so
like,
to right roll into the ending there, they get to Nick Offerman, the president, and Joel just comes in, asks for a quote, and he said, "What does he said? Don't let them
it
kill
goes
me."
it goes dark, or
No,
it deafens
he
out.
says he says, "Don't let them kill me," and he goes, "That'll work."
then get shot.
And then
Yeah, that'll
yeah,
work.
and then he gets shot.
And she has her black and white camera.
Yeah, did you guys see? I don't know if you saw when we were walking out, but they do another photo of it was
Yeah,
all
them
the
posing.
soldiers smiling with their
smiling.
thumbs up.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
I saw that. Yeah,
Thought that
literally.
was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Andrew, you were a few minutes late to the
Mhm.
movie. Were you shocked when you saw Nick Offerman as the president? Because they show him right at the beginning of the movie. He's working on giving this speech to the
I
Americans.
think they show him in the trailer.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, see,
Yeah.
I didn't see a trailer, so I didn't know. I was happy to see him. I thought he'd have a slightly bigger role. I guess I guess the enemy of the movie
Yeah,
is a
but
big role, but
I mean, he didn't. Yeah, other than I guess the beginning scene, the ending scene, and you could hear his voice on the radio at times, like asking people
Yeah.
to surrender. But other than that, yeah, he wasn't really involved.
and it opens with him and ends with him, which is pretty interesting. I like that they did that too. So yeah, and Joel gets what he wants, Jesse gets what she wants. And they kill the president. I guess it's a happy ending in a way, but it didn't feel like that when we walked out.
No,
That's my 2 cents about it, but yeah. So yeah, it was quite the movie. Obviously, we didn't talk about like Jesse Plemons killing their two friends or anything like that, but it's just like there's a lot to talk about.
Can we talk about when she pushes her out of the way? She doesn't tackle her out of the way. She doesn't throw her out of the way. He doesn't push her. She literally just stands over her like a superhero, and then just gets shot in the back. And then what happens when we all cracked up when she takes the shot?
Yeah.
When she snaps the pic, like we all cracked up.
Well, dude, it's funny because Sammy tells Lee earlier in the movie, like, if I died, would you take a picture of me? And she ends up taking a picture of him when he dies in the car. And I like that she deleted it. And it was a really good photo, too, because you can see, like, the sky from the window and then him. Yeah. And she deletes it because I think, and that's the moment where she really just cracks, right? Like when you know she's realized where we're at now. And so I really like that. And the fact Jesse took her picture is what Lee would have done back then. So I like that. The symbolism between the characters. I really do. And like when you start the movie, dude, you're like, oh, we're following journalists in this movie. Like, you know, you think it's going to be impossible for you to connect, but like somehow I connected with these guys. I don't know how, but I did.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I think having Kristen Dunst as like the older veteran journalist, whatever you want to call her, photographer, and then having that Jessie girl come in who is younger, obviously, it just plays like the dynamic was good.
Yeah,
and I wish that, I mean, you see that they kind of, and that's the thing too, is they get along, and you see their chemistry off camera. Like, you know, it just pans to them drinking in the field, smoking, you know, laying out, sleeping in the car and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It had like Twister vibes when they're going around.
And they had like a mother-daughter relationship almost.
Yeah. But I mean, you see that she's similar to Lee, Jesse's similar to Lee at the beginning when she saves her from that explosion at the gas line.
Rally.
They're at the fuel truck. And you know, Jesse captures a picture of Lee standing in front of all the bodies that she just stood up from, and you know, taking all these pictures. So
yeah, and they go to that town that's like completely normal.
Yeah, that was sweet.
You know, and because
it makes
I'm
sense.
sure that's how it'd be. Yeah, and Canadian money's worth a lot more than American money is. Inflation's through the fucking roof. What is it like? They offer $300. Yeah, for half a tank.
$300.
Yeah, and that was Canadian. So like, I don't know. It's crazy. It's like, how much are these guys getting paid? And are they just getting paid Canadian money now? Like, I don't know. Or did they find it?
You gotta think there were a lot of people that like prepped, and that's another thing too. Is like not even a doomsday prepper, but people do have that. I wish we would have seen more of that. Like, you know, you like, it is realistically like the Purge. Like you know, you're walking around and this rich guy has a minigun in his garage and he's just lighting people up that walk by. Like, you know, people are out there like prepped for this, or you know, they've had this waiting for this day, and then now's their chance to just go.
Are you prepping, nuts. Aiden? Are we able to come over your house?
Do you have water?
I might need to start digging.
Last thing before we get into our scores and then the episode, I want to know your thoughts on this. And I've heard people say this before about other movies and stuff, and I usually don't agree. I do feel like this movie would have been better if it was a limited series, maybe 8 episodes. And it mainly does follow these guys, but like if there's a couple, maybe there's an episode that focuses more on the president and his side of things, or, you know, follows different groups or something like that. To a certain degree, I feel like that would have been pretty cool to see. And I think there's a lot of stuff there where you could get away with doing a limited series, especially with these actors. I don't think, you know, it's not like you have a Leo or a Brad Pitt or something in here. You know, so maybe you can get away with stuff like that. So do you guys think it would have worked as a limited series, or are you happy it's just a movie?
I think you're right. I think that would have worked, actually. They would have been able to explore more. We would have got some more of that backstory that we so deeply want. So, yeah, I think
100%. I think if they would have, if this movie, if they would have explored a lot more, it would have made, like, it would have been fine how it is. But I think that if you gave this 8 episodes, that's 8 hours of, you know,
or 6.
I just think of it like, yeah, but I just think of it like The Last of Us. Like, The Last of Us did a great job where, you know, they put you in, and then right when you're like, oh, like, how the hell did this start? The next episode gives you little pieces, and then the puzzle is complete, you know, towards the end. So I think they could have
episode 3 you're following different characters and how they're surviving through the
I feel like apocalypse. Apple could have picked this up, or even anyone but Netflix, honestly.
HBO.
Yeah.
Prime Video could have. Yeah.
Netflix sucks.
Yeah, I was thinking about it on my drive home last night after we saw it. I'm like, that would have been pretty good as a limited series, like just one season,
Yeah,
6 to 8 episodes, something like
because
that. So
it works as a movie, but
it
like
does,
we all just agreed on, you just have more story building.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe too, they make it where like the president behind the doors is like a little bit more sympathetic, and maybe you can kind of see a way into his side. I don't know. That would have been cool. Like, and then like maybe you're on different sides depending on how you feel. Maybe that pisses people off. I don't know. Or maybe you just hate him. I think it would have been cool just to see that perspective and to see maybe other characters as well, but still follow our main four. I don't know. Would have been cool, but it's a movie. Uh, we somewhat enjoyed it. We'll see scores. Aiden, do you want to start?
Yeah, I can start. Um, like I said, I mean, Alex Garland directing Ex Machina. I had high expectations for this movie. Um, I think that they kind of fumbled it. I think it's this movie reminds me of The Creator. The Creator was the one where it takes place in the future. There's robots living amongst humans. I think that this movie is too big for itself. So it's one of those movies where it's a great idea, but there's so much to it that you have to dumb it down. You have to edit. You have to condense it into this small movie, like we just saw with like 3 or 4 main like big events that happen throughout the film when there's a million going on in all different parts of the country. So I think that's why, like, yeah, it's a great idea, but there's so much else that they could have made. There's just so much they could have added, and it sucks because I think it hurts their score. I think it
Yeah.
hurts the movie as a whole. So I mean, with that going on, like you guys said, it's a deep movie. It gets you thinking. It makes you fucking start worrying about shit. I mean, even if a civil war happens tonight or tomorrow, like there's nothing
I'm
that
not
we can
doing that.
do. Yeah, but there's nothing we have power to stop it.
No.
It's
No.
just gonna fucking happen. But I mean, it takes a lot for a civil war to happen. So,
Get to
um,
Canada as fast as we can.
yeah, I mean, I'm long gone. We got cars and shit. We don't have to stay put. But no, all in all, I would recommend this movie. I think it is a good watch, but I think anyone that has common sense or enjoys certain movies, they'll say the same thing as we have. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, shit.
We do these things where we score these movies out of 100.
Yeah, I'm gonna
This is episode
go.
162, I think.
No, I don't
Working
know
on a
because
lot of them.
I feel like 80 is too high, but I feel like 80 is a good medium. Where if I give it,
I mean,
What
critics
you
and audiences
want.
are right around there. Yeah,
but
whatever you want. They're
so
right
me
around there.
personally, I want to give it a 78.
Okay.
I think it sits good at a
Little,
78. I
little
enjoyed
low
it.
for me, but
Yeah, but the way that it
Me
like,
too.
I mean, I want to give it to like the cinematography. It's too late. I already gave it a 78. I'm giving it a 78 fully on cinematography.
Music was pretty good.
Music was good. The concept was good, but I feel like they left out too much.
Okay. Fair.
all
I
right.
can go next unless you want to, Andrew.
I'll go
Um,
next.
okay, I think we're around the same score
I don't
from
think
my
we
guess
are.
here.
I think you're
Okay.
so
I mean, he
very,
is a
very
78. So.
All right, let's see.
Yeah, no, go ahead. So overall, enjoyable movie, heavy movie. We pointed out a couple of our favorite scenes. Needed a little bit of for a 2 hour and something long movie. I believe.
It's hour 49.
Oh, okay. I stand corrected. Didn't even hit 2 hours. Felt like 2 hours.
It did feel long.
Maybe it needed 2 hours. Um, it needed it was missing some additional backstory to really get me super invested in what was going on there, and maybe that would have helped me get a little more invested in the crew of four, the press crew that we had there. And I would have cared a little bit more, but that's just my opinion and how I feel overall. I would recommend it to someone, maybe a one-time watch. I don't see myself rewatching this, even if it was like on Disney's new channels that they're gonna have.
Disney Channel.
I'd probably be clicking off of it, unless there was nothing else on. With that said, I'm gonna go with a 73, actually lower than Aiden and lower than
Oh,
what Josh has. I know. I was just pretending there. But
You got
73. Yeah, I know I did. 73 is what I'm feeling comfortable with. Not horrible. I think it was okay. Like I said, I'd recommend it, but I wouldn't. I don't know if I'd rewatch it.
Yeah,
it's worth a
yeah.
one-time viewing.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. I don't know if I could really rewatch it. I probably will, but I don't know how many times I could. Compared to some other A24 movies that we really enjoy, I do like it. I do like this movie more than you guys, just because I feel like I was able to maybe connect with the characters a little bit more than you guys. But my knock on it is I wish we learned a little bit more about what was going on, similar to you guys. But also too, like, I think the first act could have been a little bit more different. Where because really when the movie started, I didn't really like the characters too much at first, and I grew to start liking them. Which maybe that's the point of the movie, right? But I do think maybe the first act could have been a little bit more constructed to maybe where we're seeing why this happened, what was the final straw that broke the camel's back, whatever, right? Just a little bit more just to really throw us into this world, rather than what we got. So, but I mean, this movie's tough. It's unsettling. It leaves you. I mean, dude, like everyone walked out of our theater quiet as hell. We had these annoying ass kids in our theater.
Dude.
Halfway through, they shut the fuck up and they sat down. Just I assume maybe because of the movie.
I swear that one kid
like,
got sick during the Jesse Plemons part.
Right? Yeah,
like
dude. Like
he was fucking walking
yeah, dude, it's
out.
loud as hell. Like it was, and it's an experience where I wonder if you watched it at home for the first time, maybe you wouldn't feel as intertwined into the movie like we did. I don't know, but it did feel long. That's my thoughts on this movie. I thought the acting was great. I'm gonna go with an 87. I enjoyed it a little bit more than you guys. I think Ex Machina and Annihilation are still better from Alex Garland, but I enjoyed it and I did understand the hype behind the movie. So
yeah, I also want to mention. Remember before, like, what was it last week? Alex Garland said he's taking a step from film. He's taking a step back from filmmaking, and everyone's like, "Well, that's not good to hear when you have a movie coming out next week
in a couple days." Yeah,
yeah.
No, it's not. Yeah,
Which I mean, like, I think he makes good movies. I don't think he makes any bad movies.
Dude, and like the acting, like Kristen Dunst did very well. Like,
yeah, I mean,
the acting was great.
Cast, like, you got to think of the concept of this movie. Yeah, Civil War, you can do whatever you want. Look at, I guess you can't really call it a Civil War, but a war movie on American soil would be Red Dawn. Remember with Chris Hemsworth and stuff like that?
Or
like that.
Captain America Civil War, Iron Man versus Captain America.
But they're not.
I mean,
superheroes.
That's mainly in Germany, though. It's in Germany, though.
It's the same thing as this, if you really think about it.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
Same name.
That's the only thing that's similar.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that's a good place for us to end this episode.
I agree.
We plan on doing Fallout next week. That is the plan. What episode are you guys on?
I don't know. Show's mid. Probably going to give up.
He's only halfway through. I was
talking to my grandpa about it when I was with him earlier.
Mid show,
and I'm like, I'm re-downloading Fallout. I'm re-downloading Fallout now. Fuck.
Okay.
Let's get out of here.
Is that what you told him?
Because I've never beaten 4. I've never even played a full Fallout game.
Oh wow. You gotta play 3 in New Vegas too. But yeah, a lot of people. It's obviously really popular. We want to do it. A lot of people are watching it that haven't played the games, so including Andrew. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that and probably have a guest on. I think that's the plan, right, Andrew? Who's played the games and loves them.
Yep. I've got.
He's played Fallout 4, I think, 8 or 9 times. So he's a sicko. Yeah, he's such a sicko. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.
Maybe that special guest is Brian, another former small guy. Same with former small guy Mike Bress.
I'll give him a break. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.